Ladies and gentlemen, dear attendees and guests, you are most welcome. SAFA is very happy to welcome you all here to this meeting. And it's our pleasure to start the report to the nations. And this is the second one, and we hope to achieve what we look forward to. And we are happy to discuss the 2020 report. And Mr. Omar Aldukhayil is a board member. He is going to discuss it in SAFA. And the floor is yours, Mr. Omar. Please, you are most welcome. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, peace and blessings be upon our Prophet Muhammad, his household, and his companions. Dear attendees and guests, peace be upon you. You are welcome here to our monthly meeting in SAFA. I would like to thank Mr. Muhammad Medirs for his good introduction and extend my thanks to Engineer Muhammad Wahid Al-Qahtani, and he is the board member and the acting director of SAFA. A few years ago, I was the executive manager of internal audit in one of the companies. And based on the plan of work, we were supposed to audit some companies, one company following under the main company. I called the manager of the company and asked for a meeting. And during the meeting, I was explaining to him the details of the audit and how we are going to work, the plan we are going to follow. And he interrupted me suddenly and said, in colloquial Arabic, Omar, we are no longer in need of your services. All the problems, we know about them. We know our problems, and we are busy fixing those problems. I explained to him that we are working, following a methodological approach to review every part of the scheme of the company. And if we can't get a real result, at least we give you comfort to the board of members and to the review committee that everything is okay. He said, we did the review and we brought an international consultancy company, and it has been working for 3 months, and we have the report here in my hand. Based on his request that he can cancel the request based on the committee, not in my hand. I can do anything. You can direct his request to the review committee. They can postpone it, cancel it. It's up to him. To avoid embarrassment and to avoid the review committee, he accepted my. I sent the team work. After 2 weeks, they came to me with a fraud case with 100,010 riyals. It was about capitalization of some amounts of money, and they were added misleadingly to some part of the plan, and in turn showing profits in a misleading way. We discovered that the head of the following company has no idea about this issue. The point I'd like to make from this example is there is no one financial business that is completely protected from fraud. Therefore, we all need to raise our awareness and our colleagues' awareness about fraud, about its techniques and the schemes, its orientations, and how it can be detected, its characteristics. And this is the most important issue about the report to the nations. In our meeting today, I want our meeting today to be an interactive meeting, not a lecturing one, so that we can benefit from your expertise and experiences. Therefore, participation is open for anyone attending. If you want to participate, just raise your hand and we will give you the floor. The report to the nations. The copy in front of you from the report. This is the 11th edition of the largest study on occupational fraud. It was issued by the International Fraud Association, and it presents valuable information on methods of career fraud, how to detect and discover them, and the characteristics of those establishments where fraud cases happen, and the fraud properties. It was issued in April 2020. 3 months later, I am going to select some examples, and I will leave you to enjoy this interesting report. And I would like to listen to your points of view in regard to what I have selected. This study is based on 2,504 fraud cases in 125 states, and it has been updated between January 2018 and September 2019. And the cases has cost around $3.6 billion, let alone the intangible losses which the companies have suffered, and the misinformation and information of the company, and the application of more regulations which may restrain and make the job uneasy, and even the economy itself. Please have a look at the map. The map have been collected from participants, accredited participants who have participated in 77-item questionnaire on cases in which they have investigated. What's important and what's interesting, it doesn't include the financial institutions only. It also goes to cover governmental institutions and the NGOs. Therefore, the information presented in the study are based on 23 sectors, different ones. We have the distribution of cases in the study. As you can see in the map, it was in the United States and Canada, 895 cases. In the Middle East and North Africa, in MENA region, 127 cases. Which one of the countries of the Middle East and North Africa most participating in the study? You have 45 seconds to participate in this poll. Please select one only. 45 seconds. As you can see here, the results. Number one was Emirates, followed by Saudi Arabia, and then Jordan. Then Bahrain and Egypt equally came before the end, and the last one is quit. Based on the study, what's on the study? Do they confirm the results of the study? The most participating, the United Arab Emirates, 46 cases, followed by Saudi Arabia, 23 cases, and then Cyprus, 11 cases, and the remaining ones are below 10. Do you have any comments? Does anybody want to? What's the benefit of this survey? It gives us an idea about the trends in fraud and indicators, the best way to dedicate them, and compare the outcomes of this study with the risks of fraud for the institutions that we work in. Also, allocating and identifying employees and sections which are more liable to this risk. We have Mr. Abdullah Al-Ammari. Please, you are most welcome. Peace be upon you. Welcome, Abdullah. Thanks a lot for this presentation. Can you go back to the previous slide, please? Emirates may be the most participating, but it is not the largest cases in regard to the amount of losses. It is not clear. We are talking about the incidents here. We don't have an answer for this. We are talking about the cases: corruption, appropriation, extortion, or even financial statement frauds. It is not detailed actually. What are the most frequent cases of fraud? Well, we will come to this one in the following slides. Thanks a lot. Specialists in anti-fraud expect that establishments lose about 5% of their revenue annually. If we believe the total of the revenue is about $90 trillion, the loss of those cases will be more than $4.5 trillion. This does not include the loss of reputation, its character in the economy, even the application of more stricter limits that may waste opportunities whenever corruption is spread in some countries. Some countries have opportunities but to attract investments, but they can't because of this. If we go to the size of the economy of Saudi Arabia, it's $1.5 trillion. So the loss will be about 3 times as the economy of the kingdom. As for the point which Mr. Abdullah raised a few minutes ago, we have the tree of fraud. We have 3 basic issues: misappropriation of assets, corruption, and financial statement frauds. The assets is the most frequent one. It represents 86% of the cases, but in regard to the amount, it is the lowest with a median of $100,000. As for corruption, representing 43%, with a median of $200,000, and the financial statement fraud is the most expensive one with a 10% with a total cost of around $954,000, $100,000. So the total can be more than $100,000. Why? Why they are more than? Because cases can be distributed in different sections. In some cases, it happens in both sections. It can happen in appropriation of assets or a case of corruption. So a case can be recorded here and there. A very interesting slide to me here, which is the gender of the fraudster. 72% of the fraud cases were committed by men. So men are committing more crimes than women. But it is not also the percentage, but even the amount of money, $150,000, the median loss for males, compared to $100,000 for females. Even there is a great difference in regard to gender, in regard to distribution of location. As you can see, in MENA region, it's only 7% for females. Whereas in the United States and Canada, 40% for females. Can you see the difference? There is a large difference here. 7% and the other one is 41%. Do you have any comments on this? Do you have any comments on these numbers? From my point of view, I believe the reason is, I think, it may be because men have higher positions than females. They have authorities. They have privileges. They have, you mean opportunities? Yes. Yes, they have higher opportunities for doing so. Any other comment? Yasmin? I read in a paper that women psychologically take responsibility and have higher responsibility than men, and it is issued by the same department. I believe because it is more committed and it have more responsibilities towards themselves and their family. Any other participation? Any other comments? From my point of view, I agree with you in general, all of you. My personal analysis, and it is not written in the report, it's my personal point of view. The first thing is, in the Middle East, in MENA region in general, the labor, the workforce are men more than women. And if you go to the triangle of fraud, we have three basic issues: pressures, opportunities, and the last one is initiative. If you look at the man, because man generally is responsible for the bread and butter of the family and subsisting the whole family. So he is under a lot of pressure more than women. This is on one hand. And he represents the great majority of the workforce in this region. So he has more opportunities than the other sex. And the third point is initiative. The man and for his justification, he always justifies what he does. But women is more emotional and feels the responsibility, as our sister here said, and does not commit this one and doesn't think of any justification. As for our region, if you go to North America, the workforce may be equal, and even a responsibility. Therefore, we see the percentage of women is higher compared to MENA region, and even compared to Asia. This is my personal analysis. It is not there in the report, but my personal point of view. I have a question. Which section is the most liable, or which department is the most liable or most risky to fraud cases? You have here the poll. You have 45 seconds to participate. Please select one option. What's important here, or the most of you refer to operations, accounting. So it is almost close in all sections. Let's see the results of the study. More than 50% comes from these four sections. It's logical, somehow logical. Most of the operations of the company or the business under the operation, contracts and all transactions in the operations. Accounting has the financial data. And so accounting is participating, and then comes to the executive and upper management. They have the authorization and the authority, and then sales. And this is because of a lot of dealing with the other aspects of the organization. We have here the number of perpetrators in one case. If one person committed the perpetration, it's going to be about $90,000. If it is two, the average will be $105,000. If it is three or more, a combination, it will be $350,000. From my point of view, if you have any ideas here, the reason behind this is when we have a number of people who are working together, they have more chance to commit fraud while thinking that they will not be caught, or to cover their crime. Protection is better, prevention is better than disease. And we have here how much we recover from the loss of fraud. The percentage is almost equal and similar worldwide. It's very close, 50%. never recovered anything. 35% recovered some of the losses, and 15% recovered all the losses. This reminds us of the importance of controls in the institutions against fraud. The question is, or the logical ones here, what are the most common anti-fraud controls? The most common ones. And here we have a poll again. Please participate in the poll. You have 45 seconds to participate. Can we give them more time to participate and think, please? The most frequent one was the internal audit, the internal audit department, and the independent review committee audit. Let's compare this with the results of the study here. Let's see how they are similar or different. The most common one is the external audit of financial statements. It is the, as you mentioned, code of conduct also are very, as you've mentioned, internal audit department. They are the most important three ones. And even also external audit, internal controls over financial reporting. And here I would like to focus on reporting, means of reporting, and I have an agreement with my friend Wahid Al-Qahtani because he is an expert in this issue, and we will ask him to join us at the end of the session to give us his experience in this field. Why I'm talking about the means of reporting here? Because the losses of financial institutions of fraud become double in case you don't have any means of reporting. Look, as you can see, the shape on the picture on the left, if you have a hotline for reporting, the loss is around 100,000. And if you don't have it, it becomes almost double. As you can see the number, 198,000. If you have a means of reporting, contributes to discovering and detecting fraud faster and quicker. With hotlines, it becomes 12 months. Without hotlines, it becomes like 18 months with extra 6 months. Using anti-fraud controls has increased in the last decade. They have increased by 13%. What we call anti-fraud policy has been increased by 13% also. Fraud training for employees has also increased by a similar percentage, it's 11%. And the fraud training for managers and the executives, 9%. These numbers reflect awareness on the part of institutions about the fraud controls. At the end of the report, we have a checklist for assessment of anti-fraud controls. If we take it, if all of us use it to evaluate the anti-fraud controls in establishments and businesses where they work, it is going to be very beneficial. It is going to come, it's going to help you with recommendations and suggestions which you can apply in your workplace. And now I'd like, before we welcome Engineer Wahid, does anyone have a comment or a question? Engineer Wahid, are you following us? Welcome. Our topic, we seek your experience in this one, is the means of fraud or hotlines. Can you give us a brief account about it from your experience? I would like to thank you for this excellent presentation. I wish we have more time. Maybe we can make the next meeting in regard to hotlines and anti-fraud controls. Some of them call it in Arabic hotlines, and I believe we can dedicate one of our meetings to discuss this significant issue. They are very important. The importance of hotlines, as the report mentioned, it reduces and minimizes losses and increase the opportunity of detecting fraud, and even minimizes fraud for a number of reasons. One of them is perception of detection, which means that the financial institution knows that there are means of reporting. It means that if somebody is doing the job, he has a sense that he is monitored and that anybody can report him, and they are secret and they are hot. Anybody can reach them and fast. So the fear increases among the fraudsters, and it becomes less for the reporter. And this is one of the most beneficial issues. This is one of the most beneficial issues of the hotline. We have also other benefits and advantages mentioned in the report. If we have time now, the hotline gives a lot of benefits in addition to the report. The ability to analyze data. The hotline, it has become a store of data to which analysts can go and analyze to detect and study the reports. Where do they come from? What sections? What sections and departments are most liable to fraud, and how can we analyze them? And this kind of analysis can help those who are in charge to understand the nature of reports, the shapes and the characteristics of fraud, and they can even think of protective actions to listen and minimize those accidents. So undoubtedly, the hotlines as the report mentioned, in any institution is to establish a direct hotline, and it should be active, and it should be safe, confidential. It should be in effect if somebody contacts it. Do you have any comments or observation on what I've said? And thanks a lot for allowing me to participate with you. Thanks a lot, Engineer Wahid. I mentioned this one before with the digital monetization of in our age, especially in the governmental section. We found that a lot of the governmental institutions, they have established mobile applications. Anyone can log in and evaluate, assess, or report any case of fraud, or evaluate any service. Among those applications, we have Qayyim or evaluate application. We have My Home Country, and which evaluates performance, and we have another app which is called Amanat Responsibilities, and we have My Reports, and we have Honesty. We have Honesty of the Holy Capital. We have many applications. All of them help. They help to detect and prevent fraud much early before it happens. I would like to draw all your attention to such apps and encourage you to use them and to use them effectively. This contributes to raise the level of safety and minimize fraud in governmental institutions. We have large companies such as Aramco, SABIC. They have their own hotlines and they have the reporting means. Yes, please. Thanks a lot for Engineer Wahid, and he mentioned 2 points which are the most important things here. The first one is in any, you can report any violation. It can be fraud or any other violation. You can report it. The second one is, if we don't have this second point, it means it's a hotline. It is hot. It is effective. If it is not effective and hot, we have lost everything. It is useless. So it must be hot, as the name tells. Thanks a lot, Abdullah, for this comment. Any comments or any observations? Any questions? Muhammad, Mr. Muhammad. Mr. Muhammad, will you please unmute your mic, please? Peace be upon you. Can you hear me? Good evening. Thanks a lot for this presentation. I would like to add to my colleagues here. I was working in one of the sectors in anti-fraud sections department. As the report mentioned, one of the most important means of reporting is reporting on hotlines or even cases of suspicion. And therefore, in 1 year, we proposed activating bonuses and bounties and rewards for those who report. This has increased the percentage of reporting and the cases, and it has become an internal policy to activate this privilege if you report inside the internal or external. So what I want to add here is I would like to encourage everyone here. If don't think that the bonus is useless. It's very important. It's encouraging. Don't be miser. Think of giving a good reward for those who report internally or externally. This is going to improve the mechanism much better. Thanks a lot, Mr. Muhammad. That's a very good point, Muhammad. Thanks a lot. Reporting, it shouldn't be from internally only. It can be externally too, from importers, contractors, clients. Anyone should have the opportunity to report any case of fraud, be it internally or externally. Thanks a lot. That's a very good point. Yasmin, yes, please. Thanks a lot, Mr. Muhammad, for your contribution. Bounties and rewards are very effective, but in some studies mentioned this can be on the short term. This policy can be on the short term. We have two types of fraud. When you connect manners to bounty, then you have gone into another problem. So they are going to connect it to money. In the same way as you can, when you commit a mistake and you connect it to the punishment. So we must stick to the manners on the long term and think of this is a strategic objective on the long run. It's a good point, but it's a longer term policy and its effectiveness is short-sighted. This is a very good one, and if we consider it, it needs to be investigated. The reporting of means, are they based on bounties or rewards? Does it have any other side effects like conflict of interests or personal interests? Any other contributions? But I don't think that bounties contradict with secrecy and confidentiality. Yeah. We don't have to make it public. So he can be known to everyone and he can be public personality. This is a point of view also. Any comments or questions? Ibrahim, please. Peace be upon you, Mr. Omar. I was asking, based on your presentation, is fraud a kind of or a type of corruption? If it is a type of corruption, in the part that you mentioned, the types of departments that are most liable to fraud, is there any type of them commits fraud? Such as the higher authority or the higher administration committed or connected to fraud and corruption? Fraud is a kind of corruption. I would say it's the opposite. Fraud is a kind of corruption because it contains both. It contains misappropriation of assets and the financial statements fraud. It's so fraud combines corruption and other elements. As for the higher administration and management, they are under a lot of pressures sometimes, and they have the chance and the authority to commit fraud. But bear in mind that it will be covered, it will be uncovered. Sometimes they do it for the shareholders or whatever, but it's not an excuse. So sometimes they have percentage of committing a fraud than the other sections or departments in the institution. In regard to anti-fraud controls, which you mentioned, we can talk about identifying responsibilities and the separation of responsibilities. It's separation of responsibilities or identifying basic responsibilities clearly is an important factor for anti-fraud. So it can be fought and protected from the very beginning. Separation of responsibilities, having clear defined responsibilities for everyone, and it puts a limit for the fraud, but it doesn't mean that fraud will not happen. Sometimes some of them seek more responsibilities to control the area where he is going to commit fraud. As you can see, we talked about 1 person, 2 persons, and 3 persons. And you see the median or the average of the loss increases with the number of persons. Is there any other comment or any questions? SAFA they have social media accounts. Please share, let's share ideas and follow us. Follow our latest news and follow our recent and updated webinars. And we look forward to your interactions. If there are no any other participations or commentaries, then I'm giving the mic to my brother Mohammed. We'd like to thank you for this important presentation. I believe it was of a great benefit to everyone. If you have any comments or observations, you can participate now, or raise your hands, or through Q&A. We have a questionnaire and a survey at the end of this meeting. I am going to publish it to you now. So please read the questions in the survey and give us your opinion. Thanks a lot for your participation. In conclusion, we can only thank you for attending this meeting. It has contributed to the success of this meeting. It's Allah we ask for success and guidance, and peace be upon you all.